I think we can go back to the discussions that took place in the final stages of the Bali Conference of the parties, where the figure that was being talked about was 25 to 40%. But to be quite realistic, I don't see that happening in Copenhagen. It may come after Copenhagen. But what I would like to see is the developed countries saying, okay, we are going to collectively cut our emissions by 25%. And by 25% by 2020, let's say. I mean, if that happens, then what would follow is an acceptance of commitments by each country to collectively arrive at this particular target. I think this is going to be crucial if you really want to create confidence globally and certainly among the developing countries. And the drop in CO2 emissions would be dramatic with emissions. Then that in a sense would become the norm. And what one foresees in the last 8 years, there's been no commitment whatsoever. And even this legislation is stuck in the Senate. And I think we have to be realistic that here is a country that rejected the Kyoto Protocol, has done nothing about implementing any part of its provisions, and is now bringing about a turnaround in policy. And therefore, I think we have to be realistic, we have to be pragmatic. And for this reason, I would say Copenhagen is not the end of the world. It's probably going to lead to a tightening of commitments and targets over a period of time. And hopefully the US will do more than what it's committing to do right now.
We call on the EU to still bring momentum to the negotiations by stepping at their demands. The commitment to 40% domestic emission cuts and a fair share of the finances needed would really bring the momentum needed and would also pressure other countries like the US to step up their efforts. But we can only expect something to really happen in Copenhagen if one developed country really steps forward and scales up their efforts.
The most important thing is to attract attention to rail as a part of the solution, because transport causes nearly 1/4 of the global CO2 emissions, but it's not really included in the Kyoto Protocol, and we have to think anew when it comes to transport. We have to develop smart, sustainable transport systems with rail as the backbone. That is really important for us, that people understand with the train to Copenhagen.